So I want to say Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakah HaQuadash. And the question is, why your prayers are not being heard? I'm going to repeat it. Why are your prayers not being heard? So I'm going to get a couple scriptures, and then I'm going to go into the story of David, King David. So we're going to grab Proverbs 28 and 9. It says, he that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination. Let me read that back one more time. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination. This is the book of John, chapter 9, verse 31. And the scripture says, now we know, and I'll read it in verbatim, now we know that God, which is Yahweh, heareth not sinners. But if any man be a worshipper of God, and doeth his will, him he heareth. So again, now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshipper of God, and doeth his will, him he heareth. So if you wondering why your prayers are not being heard, it's due to the fact that you are committing sins. Most likely you're eating abominable foods, pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, etc. Most likely you're committing fornication. Most likely you might be committing adultery. You might be getting tattooed from head to toe. Might be bald in your head. You might be sharpening your beard or whatever. If the Most High, Yahweh Shai, who you call Jesus, if your prayers are not being heard, it's because you are committing sin. The Lord told Israel, I shall turn my face from thee because of thine abominations. So now let's go into this. We're going to go into King David. We're going to go into 2 Samuel 12, and we're going to start at 11. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thy own house, and I will take thy wives from thine eyes. Now, if you want to read the whole story, you could read the whole story about what King David did. King David committed adultery. So if you want to go through, you could read 2 Samuel 11 and 12. But the point of where I want to get is in 2 Samuel 12 and 17. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of Yahweh, or Lord, to do evil in his sight? Thou hast called Uriah the Hittite, Salakia, sorry about that. Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife. And you commit adultery by taking another man's wife. You don't commit adultery by having multiple wives. You commit adultery by having sex with another man's wife. And has taken his wife to be thy wife, and have slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives. I will take thy wives. For y'all who believe that adultery is having multiple wives, adultery is not having multiple wives. Adultery is when a man have sex with another man's wife. Adultery is when a woman go outside of her husband and have sex with another man. Even courting would be considered adultery. And I will take thy wives before thy eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this sun, for thou didst it secretly. But I will do this thing before all Israel, and before the sun. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Lord also hath put away thy sin, thou shalt not die. So the Lord showed mercy to David. But once we read further into the scripture, you will see what the Lord did to David when he showed David mercy. Howbeit, because by his deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemy of the Lord to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. So when King David committed adultery with Uriah's wife, she bare a child by David. This is the child that the Lord shall surely put to death. Unalive is what people say today. It says, and Nathan departed unto his house, and the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. David therefore besought God for the child. So David prayed to the Most High. He asked the Most High for mercy for his child. Let me get something real quick. If it comes up. Let me get this in the NIV and the NLT. David pleaded with God for the child. He fasted and spent the night lying in sackcloth on the ground. David begged God to spare the child. He went without food and lay all night on the ground. So David prayed and fasted for the Most High to show mercy unto his child. But what happened? It says, David therefore besought God for the child. And David fasted and went in and lay all night upon the earth. And the elders of his house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth. But he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. And it came to pass on the seventh day that the child died. And the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. So also for there was a debate that I was watching, and I believe it was a while back. It was a guy that told Naquam. Naquam is in the WFI camp, and he told Naquam, show me a scripture where God kills. Well, right here is a scripture that showed you that God took the life of a child because of the sin that King David committed. Just to cut him on that. And the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead? But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, is the child dead? And they said, he is dead. Then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Lord and worshipped. Then he came to his own house, and when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat. Then said his servants unto him, what thing is this that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child while it was alive, but when the child was dead, thou didst rise and eat bread. And he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who can tell whether God will be gracious to me, that the child may live? But now he is dead. Therefore should I fast, and I bring him back again. I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. Now you go. So when you out here committing sins and you're wondering why you pray to God to help you with whatever situation you in, just know if you're committing sins, the Lord ain't gonna hear you, man. The Lord he have turned his face from you. So while all you people are listening to Christianity telling you not to keep the laws of God, just know Your ass is going through what you're going through because you're not keeping the laws of God. And we just proved that in the book of Proverbs 28:9, John 9:31, and in 2 Samuel the 12th chapter down from the 11th verse all the way to the 23rd verse. So if you praying and you ain't getting no answer, it's because you doing things that you're not supposed to be doing according to the laws of God. But I'm going to say shalom.